What are the scientifically proven strategies that we can start using today to strengthen the mind? By the end of this video, you will take away 3 evidence-based strategies that you can use to strengthen the mind by nurturing your mental well-being and happiness. In this video, we're going to focus on how we can interact with other people to increase our happiness. So watch until the end of this video to learn and use scientific knowledge to strengthen your mind. Research shows that a touch on the shoulder can reduce our anxiety and fear about death, especially for people who have low self-esteem. People who have low self-esteem, that they're not satisfied with who they are as a person, have greater fear and anxiety about death. And they also have a greater desire for interpersonal touch, that when it's received, they report reduced levels of anxiety and fear about death. In an experiment, people were divided into 2 groups. Group 1 was asked to fill out a survey by a female experimenter who came and gave a little light touch on the shoulder for 1 second. And Group 2 was asked to fill out the same survey, but Group 2 was not given a touch on the shoulder. The result shows that Group 1 that received a light touch on the shoulder reported having lower levels of anxiety about death compared to Group 2 that didn't receive any touch on the shoulder. So when we're not satisfied with ourselves, receiving a slight touch on the shoulder can significantly reduce our anxiety that we might have about death. And we can also help other people reduce the anxiety about death by giving them a slight touch on the shoulder. Now the question is not only receiving a light touch on the shoulder, but can the act of giving a touch on the shoulder of another person reduce your anxiety about death and other aspects of life like your future career or relationships? So in other words, does the act of giving an interpersonal touch produce the same effect of reducing your anxiety about different aspects of life as much as receiving a slight touch on the shoulder? I do feel quite sad that this kind of interpersonal touch on the shoulder will be less frequent, especially during the coronavirus and even after this pandemic. But it's quite extraordinary how we all possess the power of healing through our touch, that we can give this inner strength to someone and also receive this strength from others just through a touch on the shoulder. What was your most memorable, gentle touch that you received from someone that still gives you the strength to this day? Research shows that experiencing stressful tensions and conflicts with other people can significantly increase the chance of getting a viral infection like a common cold. But research also shows that the act of hugging someone, so hugging other people, can reduce that chance of getting this viral infection by creating this buffer against the negative impact of stressful relationships and conflicts that we have with other people. In a study, people were asked whether they hugged someone on the day for 14 consecutive evenings, and after the last day, everyone in the study was given a common cold virus to see who were more likely to get infected by the virus. The result shows that people who experienced more stressful arguments, tensions, and conflicts with other people, they became more likely to get ill from the viral infection. But people who hugged other people more often were less likely to get infected as a result of experiencing these stressful arguments with other people. The results also show that not only hugging other people, but having other people that they could talk to about their problems, that they could get financial help, that they could spend time doing something together, experience less illness from getting the viral infection as a result of having a lot of stressful conflicts with other people. So to keep our mental and physical well-being, we need to show empathy, caring, and reassurance for the people around us. And literally speaking, hugging other people can create a buffer, a physical buffer against viral infections. I give my baby a hug every morning as she wakes up and every night before she goes to sleep as I put her down to sleep. and I can literally feel my energy being replenished by giving her a warm hug. And so we should definitely greet more people with hugs and kisses to boost our immunity. But ironically, hugging other people and giving them a kiss as we greet them increases the chance of disease transmission, and that's something that we should be wary about, especially during coronavirus. One question is whether giving a hug or a kiss in an online context using our emojis create the same kind of impact on our well-being, like we talked about in this study, creating this buffer against viral infections that we are more likely to get as a result of having social conflicts and tensions with people. And so if giving a hug or a kiss using an emoji can create the same kind of impact that protects ourselves from these viral infections, we should then give more hugs and kisses in an online context. Meanwhile, we should give more hugs to our immediate family in the same household to boost our immunity. Who do you want to start giving more hugs from today? Research also shows that having strong social connections with other people creates a physical buffer against the negative impact of stress on our physical well-being. Stress increases the production of cytokines in our body that increase the chance of getting inflammation and age-related diseases when we grow older. And likewise, like stress, feeling lonely also increases the production of cytokines as well, they both increase the chance of getting very ill as we grow older. In a study, people were given some stress by asking them to prepare and deliver a speech about why they are the best candidate for a job in front of two judges who mostly remained unresponsive throughout the speech to really make the person feel uncomfortable. And even after the speech, the research asked them to do a series of subtraction questions aloud. So they had to do these kind of subtraction questions for 5 minutes, and they had to speak out the answers in front of the two judges to really induce stress on these people. And what the research did was to do some blood tests before the exercise of delivering a speech and doing a series of subtraction questions in front of the two judges. Also, after 45 minutes, they did another blood test, and also after 2 hours to really measure the level of production of cytokines that cause inflammation. And after this whole exercise, they also asked for measured the level of loneliness. Like, how lonely do you feel? And questions like that. The result shows that people who felt more lonely had higher levels of cytokines that cause inflammation after they were given some stress compared to people who felt less lonely. So in other words, having strong social connections and feeling less lonely creates a physical buffer against the negative impact of stress on our physical well-being. It does take a lot of time catching up with different types of people, building strong social connections with different types of people, like your primary school friends, high school friends, uni friends, work colleagues, your wife's or your partner's friends, your family. And so it takes a lot of time catching with a lot of people. And to me, sometimes I might feel like I'm catching up with too many different people to the extent that I'm not really building really strong relationships with a fewer number of people. Because to build that stronger connection, you have to spend more time with a fewer number of people, right? So there's a challenge especially for me. But because of the coronavirus, social distancing, restrictions of social gatherings, and digitization of the workplace really make building and nurturing social connections much more difficult than before. And so the question is whether somehow these illusions of social connections can be created to have the same kind of positive impact on our physical well-being by really meditating for other people, by wishing and hoping for other people's well-being, their happiness, their satisfaction, the overcoming of their problems. And wishing for their well-being could in fact strengthen the actual social connections that we have when we physically meet them, by behaving in a way that's consistent with how you have been hoping or wishing for their well-being. The best thing that you can do to protect yourself from the harmful effects of stress on your physical well-being is to really invest in strong social connections. What are your strategies for maintaining and improving the social connections with the people you care about? The 3 key takeaways from this video are: first, receiving a touch on the shoulder can reduce our anxiety about death. Second, giving or receiving a hug can significantly reduce the chance of getting viral infections, which we are more likely to get when we experience social tensions and conflicts with other people. Third, having strong social connections with other people can significantly reduce the harmful impact of stress on our physical well-being. I'm glad that you're here because you can now use scientific knowledge to strengthen your mind and to nurture your mental well-being. Subscribe to get more scientifically proven strategies to strengthen your mind.